bastions of freedom, the wait is over. We are a go for launch. Guys, there are bombs dropping. They're everywhere. They're dropping in Iran. They're dropping in New York. The oil price is dropping like a bomb. Mayor Kamdani in New York, his approval ratings are dropping like bombs. Everything's dropping like bombs. This is going to be a really fun episode. You're going to need a full beverage. You're going to need a lot of popcorn. You're going to need to lock in your sarcasm button because it's going to have a lot of it in this one, along with a whole lot of, that must be really embarrassing to have that opinion 4 hours ago. Anyway, we're going to walk through the entire thing. I hope you guys enjoy this entire episode. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on as you guys get in here. Of course, we live and thrive on all the engagement. So as you get in here, all the comments, all the chats, all the emojis, all the engagement across the board is what makes the entire thing work. I got to turn my phone off. I got all sorts of stuff popping off. But guys, this is going to be a pretty big episode. And I can tell notifications have not gone off yet because you guys are not in. There we go. Now we are ready to rock. The chats and the comments and everything is starting to roll in. Guys, this is a big one. So as you get in here, make sure the audio is good, the video is good. Remember, you are responsible as deputies of the chat to defend the sanctity and the honor of said chat because these pesky lefties are not going to like this episode. I'm going to be honest with you. They're not going to like it one bit. I mean, I'm going to lean pretty hard into it. Fair warning. There's going to be some spicy moments. A whole lot of sarcasm and a whole lot of, y'all were wrong. Just saying, because the sarcasm is going to flow like the Strait of Hormuz right now. You guys know what I'm saying? If you get it, you get it. If you know, you know. All right. Guys, let's just dive right into this because honestly, the notification didn't go out. So if you guys got here a little bit early, you get a piece of candy and we get to go right in to the appetizers of this freedom show. As you guys know, we are, of course, always pushing forward for the greater good of our country, for the saving of the actual nation. Leave it better than we found it. We're 100% clickbait free. And I'll be honest with you, we've been kicking a lot of lefty butt recently. So, guys, thank you for being here. Let's keep going. All right. If this is not accurate, I do not know what is. Libs deleting their oil to $200 a barrel posts. Yep, we're going there in a minute. Because it turns out that oil fell off a cliff today. I could have sworn, up and down, that the entire world was going to end because the Iranians were going to shut down the Strait of Hormuz and they're going to blow everything up because they did and they could and they would. Except they didn't have an Iranian Navy anymore. And they didn't have any airplanes and they didn't have any missiles. They don't have any drones left. They don't have capacity. So they'll probably get on their flying carpets and do it, right? Yeah, $80 a barrel. Just want to throw that out there. Before this thing popped off, it was $80 a barrel. It's now $81 a barrel. I'm just saying. All right, let's keep on going. They need to delete their post. It's going to take time. Give them a second. All right, I'm going to keep on trucking because, goodness gracious. The Iranian war expert and the oil price expert. They've switched, guys. Let me play the meme for you again because now we've got a new crisis to focus on that they're experts on after being wrong over and over and over and over again. Okay, again, I'm going to lean into this because honestly, I have no issue if people, you know what, come here. I have no issue with people having their own opinions. I have no issue with you having a different opinion than me. I'm perfectly fine with that. It's cool. Where I really start to get a little bit irritated about it is when you start mixing your opinion with elitism and arrogance and condescension. That's when I start getting a little annoyed. And I think you guys do too. That's why lefties are an eye roll because that's their native tongue. Anyway, let's keep on going. Let's just rub it in some more. Here you go. This is actively happening right now. If it would play. There we go. The Iran war expert, it kind of turns out that the polling went against them, and now they're oil price experts. They were wrong there too, and pretty soon they're going to find something else that they're experts in, where they will also be wrong. Because oil, again, is $80 a barrel today. It started out at 120 over the weekend because everyone was panicking, and then it fell off of a cliff because it turns out that the Strait of Hormuz wasn't actually shut. The oil tankers were just turning off their transponders so they couldn't be tracked by the Iranians, and then they were still skirting by the whole time. I'll tell you what, it must suck. It must really suck to be driven by pure and total emotion. Let's keep on going, though. I'm just going to pour it on. Let me hear you in the comments, guys. Libs, when oil starts moving through the Strait of Hormuz. Yep. And like I said, I fully respect our loyal lefties. Constable will show up in a moment, tell me I'm wrong about something else, and then, it's cool. But libs when oil starts moving through the Strait of Hormuz because they thought it was going to undermine the entire American economy, and then they were also going to drive gas prices up, and then they were going to undermine Donald Trump in his second term. Yeah, that's accurate. Let's keep on trucking. I got some more stuff for you. Guys, I try really, really hard, and again, I'm being I'm being aggressive on it with sarcasm because honestly, I don't like being condescended to, especially when the people condescending and being morally elite are just flat out wrong. I can't stand that crap. But what I'm about to show you is a result of when the media just overrides your brain. When you open up all the different posts from people like Cenk Uygur, like people like Hassan Piker, like people like Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, all the ones who are literally skyfalling all the frickin' time nonstop. And then this is what happens to your brain, because none of it's reality and none of it actually exists in the real world. And you didn't look any of this stuff up, but my God, you have real strong opinions based on stuff that never happened. Watch this.
Me that 173 Delta Force soldiers have been captured. 173, that's a lot. Our government says that never happened. And then Caroline Leavitt gets on Fox News. Of course, this is fucking Fox News. She didn't deny a draft might happen. And then the Republicans today, when the vote came forward to stop all this nonsense, the Republicans said Trump gets to do whatever he wants. When asked about it, Mike Johnson, his little plastic fucking face was like, there is no war in Boxing Day. There has not been a war declared. So we cannot stop a war that has not been declared. And then Iran says that they have enough munitions to continue this level of bombing, right? For another, several months. It's 9 days in. We're 9 days in. We're losing this war. Why are we there? What are we doing? You guys' anxiety? How's it going? Sunday night. Let's get to work in the morning.
Strait of Hormuz is open. Iran doesn't have any missile capacity anymore. They don't have an air force. They don't have a navy. They don't have a drone force anymore. All their drone carriers are sunk. Their entire navy is sunk. They have no way to affect anyone outside of their realm of sphere of influence. Oil is flowing through the Strait of Hormuz. Anything else you want to freak out about? You want to sit there and believe Iranian propaganda over United States CENTCOM, which is literally the military updates with the actual military brigadier general? But no, Iran said they have bullets for days. Okay. Donald Trump literally today just said, well, looks like our party's done. Looks like we pretty much wrapped it up. We kicked their ass. Guess it's time to go home and do something else. Hey, I want the SAVE Act now. That was literally today. But these people are only listening to the Iranian war propaganda. All those AI videos that they put out that are openly showing they have B-2 bombers like going through mountains and then sinking our carriers. And meanwhile, our carriers are just like, so anyway, we launched 1,500 bombs on your asses 10 minutes ago. So I guess we'll do that again. I mean, like, it's bananas. It's genuinely bananas. And her anxiety is off the charts. Yeah, I can't imagine why her anxiety would be off the charts. They're losing their freaking minds over things that don't exist. My God. But don't worry, we're going to keep on going. All right, let's keep on trucking. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, yeah, this one. I guess we're only in the appetizers. I'm not even to the full dunking yet. Oh, get ready. So septum ring test, and it's so funny because I'll always get the one random off person in the comments that says, I'm conservative and I have a septum ring. Then you are the exception. I'm sorry. But septum rings are well known a visual distinction for liberals and lefties and wokies. I'm sorry, that's just a norm. That is like, there is like some kind of brain connective tissue right in here that you just puncture right through when you put a freaking ring in there. But anyway, let's get to this. We got another expert here talking to us about things. Listen to this. I'm really glad they're not on our side. These are amazing opponents. Watch this.
So if you're wondering a little something about the war in Iran, or as the US government likes to call it, Project Epic Fury, we are now spending $891 million per day. That would be $37 million per hour on this war. Per hour! And in only the first 100 hours of this war, the United States has already spent over $3.7 billion. So if you're wondering, why isn't China getting involved? We are running ourselves.
Okay, this next part is amazing, but I want to spend a second on that first part. When you hear a liberal or a wokie or a lefty or any opponent who is never-ending tax and spend talk to you about fiscal responsibility, that's a red flag. A yellow flag, an orange flag? I mean, my God, an LGBTQ flag? There's like 800 flags you got to throw on that one. When you hear a wokey with a septum ring talking about spending problems, you're in a different realm. Anyway, this woman is about to, well, I don't know how she identifies. This individual, who looks to be presenting as a woman, but could be a freaking ficus, she's going to tell us more about China in a second. But anyway, I got some super chats to get to because you know what? I do not like missing them. I feel really bad when I do. All right, here we go. Super chat, first one. MP 1876, $2. Should change your start time to 7:30 Eastern. I am not opposed to that. I might actually look into that. We'll see. EF, $5 super chat. Everyone needs to calm down. Yep. It's been 9 days. Yep. If it gets to 3 months or boots on the ground, then it's time to start worrying. You know what? You get a heart because I think that's a fair assessment. We spent 10 days. We've just bombed them to the Stone Age, and they can't do anything anymore. Cool. MP 1876, $2. 9:30 Eastern. I'm in Mountain Time. Well, right. Yeah, 9:30. I might do that. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. I'll put some polls out or something. All right. Super chat from D Pert, $9.99. Yep. That right there was proof that there's definitely mercury in the water in some places in America. Thanks for the public service announcement. God almighty, isn't that true? But anyway, we got to get back to the foreign policy septum ring here. Could be a woman, could not. Could be a ficus, could be a tree, could be a dude, could be a non-identified whatever. Could be pronouns. I don't care. Watch this.
So far into fucking debt, they don't even need to get involved. The US dollar is going to become so diminished from this war, and China is inherently going to have a world stage advantage over us. They're literally just watching Trump's administration drive our country into the ground and destroy all of our diplomatic relationships. So we're going even further into unimaginable amounts of debt, all because Trump is a pedophile and doesn't want you to pay attention to that.
There it is. There it is. My God. Okay. Here's the go-to for liberals and wokies right now. I swear to God, this is it. Tell me if I'm wrong. It's either default immediately to Epstein something and the word pedophile somewhere, or it's default to Israel bad. I mean, like, it's one of those two things. Like, my God, can we get some kind of critical thinking somewhere? Because going to those two is not only kind of old and kind of dumb and kind of aged, it's also not accurate. So, just throwing that out there. But anyway, let's get back to the sarcasm septum here.
We have already seen some of the most heinous shit possible in the Epstein files, and I guarantee you there's worse that has not been released yet. So he's gonna try and burn it all to the ground and destroy our collective lives until somebody gets mad enough to take his. As is the inevitable order of things, given it's in the entire world's best interest.
Sweet Lord. So fiscal responsibility, China is benefiting from us taking the only source of oil that they have completely, globally. And then the other one is they got to kill Donald Trump because inevitably everyone hates him. Behold our opponents. I swear to God, there is a brain connective tissue between the nostrils in the septum that is pierced every time you do it. Okay. Let's just start with China. Come here. Let's run down that little list for the people on the internet who are just absolutely geniuses. So China gets all of its oil from pretty much two places. Some Russia, well, really three. Some Russia, a vast majority Iran, and then the other large portion was from Venezuela. What happened with those two individual places recently? Yeah, they're in our expansion pack. So Venezuela no longer has a socialist dictator, and we have heavy influence in our hemisphere there. And then on the other side, you've got Iran, which the entire Ayatollah, don't really have a cabinet, the entire power structure has been neutered, the military neutered, the deployment neutered, the destruction capability neutered, their navy neutered, their leadership neutered. Okay, how's China getting their oil? So the world is still now on a petrodollar basis, which means, for the wokey right there, that means that the dollar is tied to the oil production. So if you have all production of oil, and you have the money that is tied to the oil, and you have the main areas of the world that are producing said oil in your expansion pack, how is that exactly going to benefit China? It's not. It's going to put them in a bad position. And you want to know why and how I know that? Because they halted all exports of anything fuel related. Because they're clamping down. Because they went, oh shit. God almighty, I swear to God, these wokies. Having a camera on your phone doesn't mean you get to condescend to everybody else that you're the smartest person in the world. Okay, anyway, speaking of smartest person in the world, this ain't it. Cenk Uygur, I told you guys, I'm not even to the Duncan yet. Okay. Cenk Uygur. Again, I swear to God, when I stub my toe in the morning, Israel's fault. When I run out of Wheaties, Israel's fault. When the sky is raining instead of sunshine, Israel's fault. I'm just tired of it. It's just boring. Everything's Israel's fault, and they own us, and it's America first versus Israel. It's just like, my God, another thing for another time, but my God. Okay. Tonight on the Young Turks, shocker, it's anti-Israel. Israel is worried they're starting to lose the war. 5 minutes ago, Israel was committing another genocide and America was being its bitch. And now they're worried. Hold on. This is an enormous development. A rift developing within the Israeli government. Israelis panicking about inadequate defenses appears to be driving Trump to say war might end quicker. Okay. Oh, goodness gracious. All right. Here's the thing. 5 minutes ago, and for the last 10 days, it has been Israel is launching another genocide. Israel wants to kill everyone in Iran. Israel wants to do everything. And America is being their baby back bitch. And they have to do it too because they own us. Okay. That's been the narrative the whole time. Then the narrative switched to Iran is going to kill everyone and it's going to destroy us. And oil is going to go $5,000 a barrel. All of those things never happened. Because we have the greatest military in the world. And they systematically defanged the entire Viper. It's obvious that that happened. Okay? Then... now the narrative is, after Donald Trump says, well, looks like we did what we wanted to do, because that was the actual announcement that Donald Trump did today, which made oil go like this. Again, they were wrong. So oil goes down to $81 a barrel, because Donald Trump says, yeah, we pretty much kicked their asses, and we pretty much did what we needed to do in about 10 days. Then it becomes, well, we can't say Israel's committing a genocide anymore and America's being their baby back bitch. So now we got to go down the road of Israel's afraid and America's doing what they said. That's why Donald Trump said this thing about we might win, we might lose, we might be over. That's what it is. It's because Israel's afraid because they were winning so good, but then they were losing so bad at the same time. Guys, it's literally like a slide ruler of how you can find something wrong with Israel. I mean, it's just, it's insane. Israel's clearly panicking though. You guys, you can't make this stuff up. You just can't make this stuff up. Okay, let's just keep on trucking. All right. We're going to have a little break. We're going to have a little bit of a break. I'm glad to see Constables here just in time because the loyal lefties are not going to like this point. Don't worry, they're going to figure out a way where it's still my fault. But this is going to be a fun part. So guys, get ready to defend the chat, the sanctity and the honor of said chat because we're about to really rub some stuff in some wounds. Just because of the condescension and the elitism. Honest to God, that's it. So if you guys are enjoying the content, if you agree with me, if you are on the board of what we're going to do and save the country together, 100% clickbait free, telling lefties what they're going to do before they know they're going to do it, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. Because we got some stuff going on. And honest to God, we're watching an entire rewiring of the global power structure. And it's going to be a thing. All right, let's get into this. Here we go. Oh, that's uncomfortable. Man, oil is going to be $200 a barrel. It's going to be $200 million a barrel. It's going to be like $10 quadrillion a barrel. Yeah, it fell off of a cliff. It's now $87 a barrel. Don't worry, I got more. Just keep on pouring it in. Oil crashed 32% from 119 to 81, the biggest single drop day in history. You know what? It's awkward. I'm just gonna say it. I'm going straight to guns. I don't even care. You sit there and you say all the time with absolute certainty, elitism, condescension, arrogance, all the favorite parts of all humanity that everyone loves, that oil is going to go to $200 million a barrel and it's over because the Strait of Hormuz is 100% going to be closed. Don't worry, that's coming up in a second. And then the next day that the markets open, it goes for the largest single drop in history. Great job. Again, if you didn't bring arrogance and condescension and elitism to the party to begin with, it wouldn't be necessary to dunk on you. The garden gnome tried to dunk on us this morning, but markets and reality weighed in by day's end, proving once again you must be this tall to drive in our lane. Talking about Brian Krasenstein, another leftist who is saying that the sky is falling because Donald Trump killed the entire economy by jacking up oil prices, and the Strait of Hormuz is closed. No, it's not. No, he didn't, and they're wrong. That's why U.S. Oil and Gas Association is absolutely just destroying Brian Krasenstein. A, because he deserves it. B, he's short. And C, that is a stupid post. Anyway, let's keep on trucking. Spicy Braden's coming out now. Here's another one. Breaking. Oil prices collapsed below $84 a barrel, now down over 30% since last night's highs. By the way, it was all speculation based off incorrect information and panicking. I would like to ask you one more time, how are they going to shut the Strait of Hormuz? They've got nothing left. I said that day one. What are you going to shut it with? Fairy dust? Magic carpets? Aladdin? Is there a lamp and a genie I don't know about? Is Sinbad going to sail the seven seas again? Like, how are you going to do it? How are you going to make those ships not go through a wide area of the channel? How? Good luck. You can't. That's the point. If you don't have the infrastructure, you can't exact your opinion. That's the whole reason all the strikes are happening. The strikes are happening because Iran's been threatening people forever, not because of Israel, but because the Iranians have finally just been kicked in the teeth. Don't be assholes. You won't catch the military's foot in your ass. Anyway, let's keep on going. Got some more stuff for you. Oh, goodness gracious. Seriously, I would have embarrassment. Guys, let me hear in the emojis, the comments, the chats on this one. Following the near total obliteration of the Iranian Navy by U.S. forces, oil tankers have begun crossing the Strait of Hormuz with their transponders turned off as oil prices dropped 20% from recent highs. Let me show you this. So what's happening, guys, is just so you know, no matter which way you go on this, if you're coming from the southeast, and you're going north, or you're coming from the southwest and you're going north, they're turning off their transponder signals so that they can get through without being identified by the Iranians, and then they're just sailing on their way. That's why there's no ships right there in the main choke point of that channel, is because they're just turning the transponders off. You're watching the transponders. If they turn the transponders off, you can't see the ships. Doesn't take a genius to figure this out. It's still rolling. Anyway, just saying. Super chat from Tactical Charlie, $1.99. Crude oil went from $116 to $85 like it saw the GSP. Yeah, yeah, definitely fell off. Just saying. I mean, guys, honest to goodness, tell me honestly in the chat and the comments and the emojis over here, am I over the target on this one? Because I swear to you, we had these conversations while all the liberals and lefties were screaming on high, blood shooting from their eyes, that oil was going to be $2 million a barrel, and Donald Trump killed the entire planet, and the core of the earth is going to stop moving because of Iran right this second, and then next week it'll be Epstein again, and then the week after that it'll be affordability. The week after that it'll be Islamists that are throwing nail bombs in New York City. Oh wait, no, that's coming later in this episode. Yeah, I ate my Wheaties for this one. Super chat from Jeremy Wills. It's cute. Autumn thinks they have drones left. Right. But that's so Jeremy, you bring up an interesting point. Jeremy brings up a very fascinating point in this super chat. It's 100% they're going to kill us with all of their Air Force, and then they're going to kill us with all their Navy, and then they're going to kill us with all their missiles and all their intercontinental ballistic missiles, the ICBMs. Then they're going to kill them with the new missiles they've been holding back. I mean, like, then we're going to drop nukes on them. I mean, like, all of it. Bullshit. It's wrong. You just own it. It did not play out like you said it was going to. Their drone carriers are at the bottom of the ocean. It's lovely for the scuba tourism. I mean, my God, they have nothing left. And every time that they warm up a frickin' missile, we have satellites that identify them, and F-35s are already in the air, and they've already got the bombs loose. I mean, it's not working out the way that you said it was going to. Just own it. Goodness. Anyway, let's keep on going. I don't know why I'm squeaky. Let's go back to this, my natural tone. Oh, look, another lefty. Oil at $95. Nothing ever happens. That's because it's falling off of a cliff and lefties don't know how to handle it. Look, angry staffer. This is another lefty. Dow futures open more than 800 points down. Oil up to $115 a barrel. Oof. That was last night. Wait until today. Another lefty. Oh my God. Another lefty. Who's ready for $5 gas again? We're going to get Trump. And then CNN went live to show you how oil prices hit the lowest part of the day.
It's been a little bit of positive movement in the markets after the president told CBS that the war is pretty much complete. What's the latest?
Yeah, oil prices hitting their lowest level of the day after crashing through that $100 a barrel benchmark overnight, even reaching up to $115, $120 a barrel. Those are numbers that we haven't seen for nearly 4 years since the war between Russia and Ukraine broke out. But even though these levels have come down to about $85, $90 a barrel, still 30% higher than they were just a month ago. Markets obviously move very quickly, but what isn't moving so quickly for Americans, at least today, is that price of gas. People are showing up at the pump.
This is the funniest part about this whole shit. Sorry, I'm cursing a little bit more than usual. It's just, dealing with the absolute elitism and the arrogance and the condescension and the just talking down to you all the time that liberals do. It is asinine. Because I have to ingest it for like 9 hours a day, and it just gets to me sometimes, I'll be honest with you, which is why when they're wrong, I just genuinely just relish it. Now they're concerned that the oil price went down, and that's really, wow, we didn't see that coming. Yeah, no kidding, you didn't see that coming. But gas prices aren't there yet. You mean because the supply chain? You mean because gas prices don't go up and down instantly? Come on, CNN, you're better than that. But they got to find a way to try to couch it as not good. All right, let's keep on going.
And realizing that gas is costing about 50 cents more on average than it did just a week ago, and 40 cents more than it did a year ago when President Trump was newly in office. Of course, oil prices can change. They could go back up again, especially because so much of the world's oil, 20%, is really locked at a standstill at that Strait of Hormuz, where 20% of the oil moves through, as oil tankers are simply stuck there, unable to move oil. The U.S. does have a good supply of oil. However, oil trades on a global market, and that's why you're seeing nerves. That's why you're seeing oil prices rise, and that's why you're seeing gas prices rise. According to Gas Buddy, we could see another 10 to 20 cent rise, and we could and will likely reach $4 a gallon here in the United States. But investors on Wall Street were also encouraged by that conversation that President Trump had with CBS News.
By the way, that conversation, and come here real quick, and this is the final part to this, how it all ties together. That conversation was, yeah, the war is pretty much over. Now, of course, Cenk Uygur and the Young Turks are going to say that's because Israel is so concerned, and Israel, because they're so concerned, is telling Donald Trump that he can't do it anymore. And so, therefore, it's the ultimate, 5D chess, Israel still rules the world thing. I mean, like, my God, on one breath, you can't control Donald Trump. He's an absolute buffoon, and he's just a egomaniacal maniac. And then on the other one, he's Israel's bitch. I mean, like, it's just like he's the greatest evil villain in the planet, but he's also an absolute moron. They can't make up their minds. I mean, they can't. And once you see it, and once the mask slips, it's just like, so do you guys just like make this stuff up, or do you require rationality? No? Nothing? Just start screaming stuff. Okay, let's get right back to this. Anyway, let's have some more fun. Let's just dunk him. Oh, and here, by the way, here's some more stuff. Here's Fox News saying the same thing, just for fair and balanced. That brought you CNN. Now I got to read Fox News. Watch this.
He has done some phone interviews with several outlets, most recently talking to CBS News' White House reporter, I should say. And in that interview with Wei Zhejiang, he said, I think the war is very complete, pretty much. They have no Navy, no communications, they've got no Air Force. He added that the U.S. is, quote, very far ahead of the initial 4 to 5 week estimated time frame. And then with that, we bring in Danny Denon.
So you're 4 to 5 weeks ahead of the time frame. What did he say? Hold on, this is important because, you know, the president and stuff. Quote, and this is what made the market spike, and this is what made the liberals start doing that post-delete thing. I think the war is very complete, pretty much. They have no Navy, no communications, they've got no Air Force. He added that the U.S. is very far ahead of its initial 4 to 5 week estimated time frame, completely sinking the narrative of the lefties and liberals and the Democrats, just like the Iranian Navy. Because, my God, 10 minutes ago, it was, this is a forever war, we're putting boots on the ground, we had absolute crazy people on the internet saying that we were going to drop nukes imminently. I mean, what? Donald Trump comes out and is like, yeah, it was over, that was fun, we came, we saw, we conquered, we straight up Alexandered it, we gave it the Alexander Trump approach, and now whatever, cool. And somehow, you still have to find a way where this is somehow Israel's fault, so now it's Israel is making Trump do it because what was a forever war is now they're afraid they're losing war, and we were evil and we're mad imperialists, but now we're afraid defeated conquerors. I mean, like, literally, guys, following the narratives, it's like a drinking game, but it's just... Ugh. Okay, let's keep on trucking. I've got more for you. The price of oil. Again, I'm just going to keep on just grinding it straight, salt into the wound. The price of oil has fallen roughly $25 since last night. As a result, the stock market has risen substantially from its lows earlier today, and MSNBC is no longer showing the stock market on its network. That checks. That checks and tracks. All right, guys, well, that was just the first part. We got the next segment where we're going to get socialism with a smile, Kami Mandani, talking about how people who pledge their allegiance to ISIS are white supremacists. Told you this episode's going to be spicy. So as you guys are getting in here, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. We are growing by leaps and bounds. We are getting so much exposure because you guys are sharing this stuff out, and I appreciate every single one of you doing it. Honest to goodness, saving the country, telling you things that a lot of other people should be saying too, and 100% clickbait free. And your emojis, comments, and chats make the world go round. So guys, please keep on launching right over there. All right, more spice. Okay. I'm just going to do it. I don't even care. I'm just going to do it. I've got a super chat from Constable. Not a super chat. Whoa. I've got a chat from Constable, which is, again, I swear to God, I don't pay her to make these amazing posts, or him, or it, whatever. But it's like manna from heaven. Here we go. Accidental setup yet again. Constable, here we go. Mark my words. Trump will open up your oil reserves to keep the price down. You know that word, your oil there. It's weird. I just want to point that out, but let's go back to a bigger, broader point. It's a little bit more important. If you're implying that opening up the oil reserves would be a bad thing, you might want to talk to Joe Biden, you know, the brainless robot, who opened up all the oil reserves around the midterms, depleting them completely in order to artificially suppress gas prices to help the Democrats win the election, of which they still lost the House. So you want to talk about that being a bad thing? Okay, you got us? You got me? By the way, it still hasn't happened for Donald Trump's side, but it did happen for Biden, so I guess it was great then, but bad now. And also, the only people that dumped oil on the market right now was the, I believe, European Union or some European entity that dumped oil on the market, not the United States. So other than being completely wrong, you're just completely wrong. Respectfully. Anyway, let's keep on going. Let's keep on trucking. God, I mean, I swear to God, I'm not even paying her. Like, it's literally, it's just like it's the most amazing thing ever. Here we go.
You don't live in New York.
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot this was first. Okay. This is liberalism in a nutshell. If you could make a 28-second video that completely encompasses everything about the liberals that we know in our lives in the last 20 years, this is it. You've got a paid protester or an emotional homegrown protester saying how anti-immigrant he is, anti-ICE he is, and pro-immigrant he is. And the whole point here is how amazingly accepting he is, while a jihadi jumps over him, throwing a nail bomb onto pro-freedom, anti-Khomeini protesters on the streets of New York. You cannot make this stuff up. Watch. Enjoy. Delicious.
You don't live in New York. You're coming to New York to tell people who belongs in New York and who doesn't belong in New York. We were born and raised in New York, and we want everyone here to stay in New York. You don't get to come from outside and then tell everyone else. You don't live in New York.
You could not get a better example of liberalism ever, where they are actually used as a vaulting surface to launch IEDs into crowds of innocent people. But damn it, you are so brave. And then you look like a coward while he's like, who touched me? Oh, he was just a guy throwing a bomb over your shoulder. No big deal. I mean, guys, anybody? Anybody? My God. Okay, this is the part where you just start sharing this stuff out, guys, because you can't make it up. It even became a really amazing meme because this is actually accurate. There's no embellishment here. This actually happened. Everyone is welcome here. Allahu Akbar. Bomb. I mean, sometimes I don't even need words. Sometimes it just speaks for itself. This would be one of those times. Like, my God. Anyway, let's jump over here. Just keep on going. Just keep on having some fun here, guys. Upon his arrest from throwing a bomb at an anti-Islam protesters in New York City, Amir Balat immediately pledged his alliance to ISIS, saying, quote, all praise is due to Allah, Lord of all worlds. I pledge my allegiance to the Islamic State. Die in your rage, you kuffar. This isn't a religion that stands when people, this isn't a religion that just stands when people talk about the blessed name of the Prophet. We take action. Well, that's swell. That is swell. See what else we got here. Oh, here's the same guy running away with another bomb, only he drops this time. He drops it at the feet of a police officer. But by all means, tell me how accepting you are. You know what? Now's a really good time just to throw a little plug in for my my 2A advocates out there. They should make bombs illegal. If you know, you know. Let's keep on trucking. Again, the spice is just going to keep flowing. Hey, look! Someone in New York saying the same things that we said. NYPD confirms Islamic terrorists were inspired by ISIS and Islam. Qayyumi said his actions that day were partly inspired by ISIS. Balat wrote a message. I pledge my allegiance to the Islamic State. Die in your rage, you non-believers. Excellent.
Qayyumi said in recorded post-arrest statements that he had watched ISIS propaganda on his phone and that his actions that day were partly inspired by ISIS. The complaint also details statements made by Amir Balat after his arrest. En route to the NYPD precinct, Balat made spontaneous statements without being questioned by NYPD officers that were captured on body-worn camera footage. He said, "This isn't a religion that just stands when people talk about the blessed name of the Prophet. We take action, as well as, if I didn't do it, someone else will come and do it." And later, after waiving his rights, he requested paper and wrote a message declaring in part, I pledge my allegiance to the Islamic State. Die in your rage, you kuffar. Now, die in your rage is a commonly known ISIS slogan, and kuffar is an Arabic term that refers to non-believers.
Man, that is uncomfy. That is uncomfy. Oh, but don't worry, guys. Mamdani's blaming the ISIS-inspired New York City terror attack on white supremacy. You can't make this stuff up. You just can't. You just cannot make this stuff up. Let's just get right to him. So, Mamdani won't say terrorist when asked about ISIS wannabe killers who threw bombs and used the liberal as a vaulting platform. Police say wannabe ISIS killers used the mother of Satan explosives, yet the mayor opened his press for blasting white supremacy. Well, let's just see if that's true. Maybe that was propaganda. Maybe I'm making that up.
Of us were home at the time. This was a vile protest rooted in white supremacy entitled Stop the Islamic Takeover of New York City. I'm the first Muslim mayor of our city. Anti-Muslim bigotry is nothing new to me, nor is it anything new for the 1 million or so Muslim New Yorkers who know this city as our home. While I found this protest appalling, I will not waver in my belief that it should be allowed to happen. Ours is a free society where the right to peaceful protest is sacred. It does not belong only to those we agree with. It belongs to everyone. I will defend that right.
Now, he is correct, and I will give credit where credit is due. He is correct on the right to freedom of speech. He is. But that whole white supremacy part, I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, at a certain point, you just kind of got to drop the tropes, don't you? Because, like, all right, maybe I'm just making something up again. Oh, speaking of Comrade Mamdani, the socialism with a smile, I forgot about this part. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani reportedly discussing eliminating free parking as city faces $5.5 billion budget deficit. I was told that the buses were going to be free and that everything was going to be provided and the rent was going to go down and everything was going to be cheaper for affordability for New Yorkers. And yet, somehow, you've raided the pension funds, you've raided the rainy day fund, you've raided the emergency day emergency funds, and you're increasing the taxes on all rent for property taxes. And now, you're getting rid of free parking in New York City. New York, I don't know what you guys thought was going to happen, but man, I really thought FAFO was going to last a little longer than this. I mean, y'all are getting boned. I mean, it's been free for decades and generations on the curb in New York City, and now, not anymore. Now it's going to be jacked up by the socialist affordability mayor. Pause for dramatic effect. And ultimately, I can't think of a single better way to end this episode than this right here. I mean, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. So in conclusion, that was a little spicier than I thought, I'm going to be honest with you. I just have a lot of pent-up emotion about the whole arrogance, condescension, and elitism thing from the liberals who are always wrong. Let's see. Where was I? Oh, yeah. In conclusion, they were wrong. Socialist mayor thinks a terrorist attack by an ISIS supporter is white supremacy. And they're jacking up all the fees on parking on the New York streets from the same guy who said everything was going to be free, including the buses, and rent was going to go down. I think that about sums it up. Throw in a whole bunch of sarcasm, bake it for 40 minutes at 400, and you got an episode. And that's what I've got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the content. Let me know what you think right down there. I will see you on the next one. I love each and every one of you just the right amount. Thank you for putting up with my shenanigans, even when I get a little bit spicy. And let me know what you guys think of in the comments of the episode. I'll see you on the next one. I'm Braden. Later.